About Excel pivot table. Pivot table are one of the most powerful and useful features in Excel. With very little effort, you can use a pivot table to build good looking reports for a huge amount of data. Now let us see how to use pivot table in Excel. A pivot table is used to summarize, sort, reorganize, group, count, total or average data stored in a table. It allows us to transform columns into rows and rows into columns. It allows grouping by any field, whether it may be a column or anything, and using advanced calculation on them. It is like a kaleidoscope. It gives an interactive view of your data set view. Calculating and formatting the data is very easy using pivot table. It will meet the new requirements needed for you as a data analyst. Now let us see how to create a pivot table. The step number 1. Select the cells you want to create a pivot table from. The shortcut for selecting the cells is Ctrl plus Shift plus 8. Note, your data should not contain any empty rows or columns. It must have only a single row heading. Step 2. Select Insert Pivot Table. The shortcut for creating a pivot table is Alt plus N, then you press V. The third step is, under Choose the data you want to analyze, select a table or range. The fourth step is, in table/range, verify the cell range. Fifth step, under Choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. Select New Worksheet to place the pivot table in a new worksheet or existing worksheet, and then select the location you want the pivot table to appear. Step 6. Click OK. Now let us see the pivot table shortcuts. Alt plus Shift plus left arrow is used to ungroup the selected pivot table items. Alt plus Shift plus right arrow is used to group the selected pivot table items. Ctrl plus Shift plus 8 to select the entire pivot table. Alt plus down arrow. Alt plus NV to create a pivot table. Alt plus L displays the pivot table field dialog box. Alt plus P move the selected field to the page area. Alt plus C move the selected field to the column area. Alt plus D move the selected field to the data area. Alt plus R move the selected field to the row area. Alt plus H, S, C unhide/clear filter of an item. Alt plus N plus S plus Z plus C insert a pivot chart. Ctrl plus A select the entire pivot table. Ctrl plus -hide/filter out the items. Now we are going to see the anatomy of pivot table. We have 4 areas: the values area, row area, column area, and report area. Once again I repeat, the values area, row area, column area, and report area. This is what a pivot table will have. I will show you in a picture. So you can see there is a report filter area, there is a row area, column area, and value area. Now we are going to see about a sample pivot table. So we are going to create a pivot table as well as a pivot chart. This is the data collected from the employees of a company. They have given their preference towards their new leave policy that have been given by the company. They have told whether it is yes or no. Their preference towards the new leave policy. They have given us yes or no. Now what we are going to calculate is, does the opinion about the leave policy differ between the male and female? We are going to find whether the opinion given by the male and female employees with reference to the new leave policy is same or not. We are also going to find, is there any change in the view after introducing the intervening variable marital status. So we are going to find whether the male married people their preference is changing, female married people their preference is changing, or unmarried male and female what is their preference. So we are going to study all these detail. We know around 500 respondents, they have given the data. We have collected whether they are male or female, whether they are married or unmarried, and their preference towards the new policy. Now, to create the entire pivot content, what you have to do is, there is a shortcut key, Control plus Shift plus 8. So this is the shortcut key what we are going to use now. Okay, Control plus Shift plus 8. Keep the cursor in any of the cell and click Control Shift 8. So that means the entire data has been selected. Now you click Insert, then click Pivot Table. So here actually the entire table range has been selected. You can see all the 500 data has been selected. If it is not selected, once again click and you can select. You are going to choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed, whether in a new worksheet or in an existing worksheet. This you can decide. Now I am going to select in a new worksheet. So I have selected this in a new worksheet. Now you can see all the details are available. The respondents, the gender, the marital status, and preference towards the leave policy. So this is the area. You can see here the pivot table design will come here. So you can select the fields based wherever you want to keep the fields, you can keep there, either at the rows or at the columns or at the values. Okay, so here what I am going to do, I am going to drag the gender and I am going to put it in the rows. Okay, now you can see the row labels are male and female. Second thing is, I am going to drag the marital status. I am keeping here. So the data is, we are going to calculate for the female married and unmarried, male married and unmarried. Okay. Now in the column you can select the preference. So now you can see the column what we have selected. What is the preference, whether it is yes or no, selected by the male and female. Now the values also you have to drag the same thing, preference towards the new leave policy. I am selecting and dragging. Now you can see we have got the pivot table. Now it is very clear. Female married, they have told 50 people have told that their preference is no. And married towards the new policy, 135 people have told it is okay. Unmarried, you can see the preference is 20 and here it is 70. Male, the preference of married no is more, the preference towards yes is 15, only 15. Unmarried you can see 20 and 90. Okay, now we can create a chart for this. You select the detail and you click pivot chart. So we are going to create a pivot chart for this table. You click this. So this is the chart. You select the chart and click OK. So suppose if you want to change chart style, you click this button. Okay, here there is a button. You click the chart. Here click this button, chart styles, and you can select the different styles of chart. See, you can also select this Any type of chart can be selected. You can select this. So the values, everything is displayed. Okay. So which type of chart you want, you can select that type of chart. You can select the black one. And the colors also you can change. See the colors, you can select the colors. You can make different colors. Change the colors. Whatever colors you want, you can select and change. You can see here I'm selecting different colors, so you can select whichever color you want, you can select that and click. So we have created a pivot chart and a pivot table. Using this you can clearly make analysis. As we have already discussed, a pivot table can be used like a kaleidoscope. Okay, kaleidoscope is a device. If you start rotating, you will get different types of images. Once again, I will use the same leave policy data. I will create a different pivot table. Okay, so I am going to click insert pivot table, click OK. So what I am going to do is I am going to give the marital status in filter, the gender in the column, the preference the row, the preference in the value. You can see here how I have used. The filter which I used is marital status, the gender in the column, that is the male and female, the preference towards leave policy, that is given in the rows, and the values are given here in the value side. So here you can see this is, if I want the married, only the married detail, I can select married. If I want only unmarried, I can click unmarried. Okay, if you select multiple items, both can be selected. Okay, so now it is very simple. The same data you can see in different forms. Okay, that is the use of this pivot table. Similarly, you can also create a chart for this pivot chart. And you can see here the chart, you can see here. So if I bring the gender here, the entire table will change. The table has changed as well as the content has changed. I have moved like this. Okay, so chart as well as the content, it will change. Suppose I bring the marital status here, it will come here. If I want the, it should be here, you can see the marital status is moved here. And similarly the chart also there will be. Now for more detail, suppose I want that entire table to be calculated in percentage. So that will give me more information. Okay, this table I'm able to find how many male, how many female are there, their preference, everything I have calculated. If the entire detail is in percentage, it would be very easy for me to evaluate. Okay, so what I am going to do is, once again I am going to insert a pivot table. Okay, I have selected the detail in a new worksheet. Similar to this, once again I am dragging the rows, gender, marital status, preference towards leave policy, and the value. Okay, we are getting the same table. Okay, so if I right click, if I click this value field setting, you can give a custom name. Okay, opinion, I'm going to give opinion percentage. Okay, I'm giving a name. Show value as. Here you can give percentage of grand total, column total, row total. Okay, percentage of parent total. Many options are there, you can see. So here what I am going to give percentage of row total, and I am clicking OK. Now you can see this table. This table gives you a clear picture. You can see the female 25 percentage they have told no, 4.55 percentage they have told yes. When we divide into married and unmarried, you can see The percentage is more or less similar. Okay, you can see here the married, those who told no, and unmarried, those who told no is same, and their preference looks the same. Yes, looks more or less same. So it is in the 70s. Let us see the case of male. Okay, when you see the case of male, 53 percentage of the male, they have told their preference is no towards the new leave policy, and 46 percentage they have told their preference is yes. Segment as married and unmarried, there is a huge difference. The married male, they have told their preference is no, whereas the unmarried male, they have told the preference is yes. So using pivot table, you can make this analysis. So like this, you can make several analysis. You can also create a pivot chart for this. You can create a pivot chart. Here also you can select different types of chart, bar and other things. But I am going to select column chart. Okay, column chart. You can also select different types of charts. So I'm clicking OK. Now you can see it's very clear. So you can see this. Now you can see the married male preference for no is more. The unmarried preference for yes is more for male. And the female, you can see both the married and unmarried, their preference looks the same. Okay, this is a good analysis we can make from this pivot table. I will also teach you another detail. You can see here there is an option called slicer. Okay, you can see here slicer is there. For what variables, if you want to insert slicer, you can select that and you click OK. Now you can see the entire details are like this for the male, female, and suppose I want to take only male. Okay, you can see for male I have made the slice. So the details in the, you can see here in this entire pivot table, it has changed. It is showing only for male. If I want only for female, I can select only for female. And in female, if I want only married, so that detail can be selected. Okay, and the preference, those who are told yes, if I want to select, so around 135 married female, they have told yes. How many of them have told no? Around 50 they have told no. Okay, unmarried, you can select this unmarried no, unmarried yes. And similarly you can calculate for male. Male married yes, married no, unmarried. So you can slice the data. Okay, so based on that you can do different analysis. So this is called slicing of data. You can see here insert slicer is there. Okay, it is a very useful tool. Use a slicer to filter data visually. Slices make it faster and easier to filter tables, pivot chart, and cube functions. Okay, so suppose if we want to select both, press Ctrl and click, everything will be selected. So I am selecting it, so the old table is back. Okay, so this is a very useful tool, slicer tool. So you can, once again I'll show you the slicer tool. This tool is very useful. And here suppose if you want to select a particular respondent, you can select that and you can find this respondent. This, what about this respondent? He is male, unmarried, preference. So you can see this slicer is a very useful tool. Now I have a data about the budget allocated for different cities based on states, division, and other things. So every month some budget is allocated. So I have the data. Okay, it is a raw data where the city, state, division, month, and amount has been given. So I cannot make major analysis from this data if I use normal filter or anything. So for this we can use pivot table. So what I am going to do is the same method we will do. Control Shift 8. I have selected the entire data. Now I am going to insert the pivot table. Click pivot table. Okay, so I am going to insert in a new worksheet. Click OK. Segregate the data based on division. Okay, there are three division: division 1, division 2, and division 3. Based on state, I want to divide the data. So you can see division 1 Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, division 2 Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, division 3 Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, it is there. Then I am going to divide based on city. So the third one is based on city. So now you can see, so in division 1, which are the cities: Hyderabad, Kadapa, Kakinada, and Kurnool. In Tamil Nadu we have Chennai, Kadalur, and Vellore. Division 2 we have Coimbatore, Karur, and Salem. Division 3 you can see Madurai, Tanjavur, Tirunelveli, and Trichy. For Andhra you have Gundur, Nellore, Nizamabad, and Tirupati, Vijayawada, like that. Okay, now we have the row labels. The column labels we can put as month. Okay, we can collect that as month. Okay, this will be the column label. Then I'm going to insert the amount in the values. Now you can see a perfect table has been created. Here we can easily analyze for each division month wise how much amount is allocated. You can see division 1, the grand total is around 34,176. Division 2, it is 41,527. Division 3, 49,918. So here you can see state wise also the allocation can be, what is the budget allocated, Tamil Nadu what is the budget allocated, everything can be done. Okay, for this you can create a chart. You can create a pivot chart. Okay, so you can see here this pivot chart will give a good detail about different things. Here also you can apply the slicer. Okay, so you can do the slicing of data. Now I have applied a slicer for this pivot table. Let us see how it works. If I want only division 1, okay, so I am selecting division 1. The entire division 1 detail is displayed. If I want only Tamil Nadu, the Tamil Nadu detail is displayed. In division 1, if I want only the Chennai detail, the Chennai detail will be displayed. Okay, suppose I am selecting Andhra. If I press Control, Andhra. So if you press Control and select, those details will be displayed. Now I have a data with related to American election. So this is a very huge data. Let us see whether we can use pivot table to make any analysis with this. So I am selecting this, Control Shift 8, insert pivot table, select a table range. Everything is done. New worksheet I am selecting. So suppose I want to have the party in the row. Okay, how many parties are there? American Independent, Democratic, Green, Republican. You have different parties are there. Okay, now let us see the age group of each parties. So I want the details of age group. So the ballot status of these people, years we can have in column. Okay, if you don't want the years can be put in filter. So you can see we can select this here. We can also put in filter. Okay, last voted status. If you want, you can put in filter. So what is the last voted status of these people? Based on different years you can calculate. So you can see here, this is a filter option. And voter. One option in pivot table is you can also put the party in column. You can rotate. Okay, you can rotate like a kaleidoscope. You can rotate the entire detail wherever you want. A pivot table is like a kaleidoscope. You can rotate the entire rows to columns, columns to rows. The values can be changed. Everything can be done. So pivot table is a very, very useful tool in Excel. Thank you. For more videos like this, subscribe our channel EduCrawl. You can forward this video to all your friends and relatives.